Today, we will talk about how to pull weeds. Let's have a look at the details. Pulling weeds is an everyday activity for most gardeners. You can try all kinds of things to prevent weeds from cropping up, such as mulching or using cover crops. In the end, you will end up having to pull weeds from your garden beds throughout the season. Pulling up weeds involves identifying the weeds you want to remove from the garden bed, loosening the soil around the weed, and pulling the entire weed up from the root. The first step is preparing to pull weeds. Choose the right time for the task. Pulling weeds is much easier when the ground is wet, so working soon after a rain will make the job easier. Typically, a good day to weed is one day after a nice rain. Find a pair of gardening gloves with some kind of wrist closure, such a Velcro band that can be tightened around the wrist. Pick up your weeding tools. Weeding tools are great if you want to keep your hands clean, or if you are weeding in an area that is particularly tough, such as an area with hard soil, a crack in the pavement, or a high concentration of weeds. If you do not have the right weeding tools, you may need to visit your local home and garden center to purchase. Protect yourself from the sun. You should put on a hat and some sunscreen lotion. Fill up your water bottle. You will need to stay hydrated while weeding, so fill up a water bottle or two. You will need to drink water before, during, and after weeding in order to keep hydrated. Keeping hydrated will prevent heat stroke due to prolonged exposure to the sun while you are gardening. Look for any garden hazards and remove them. If there are hoses left lying about, put them aside so you don't trip on them while weeding. The second step is identifying, loosening, and removing weeds. Identify the weeds you want to remove. Walk around the garden bed you plan to weed and identify the areas that need to be weeded. While you are surveying the bed, take a close look to identify edible weeds that you may want to keep, such as dandelion, amaranth, plantain, or lamb's quarters. Once you have an idea of what you want to pull up and what you want to leave, start weeding the bed. Consider whether you want to harvest edible weeds to eat later. Many edible plants are commonly seen as weeds, but are great additions to salads and stir-fries. For instance, dandelions are commonly seen as a weed, but are actually a very tasty vegetable that can be added to salads, stir-fries, and soups. You may not have planted these edible plants yourself, but they can be desirable nonetheless. Pull them up and store them in a mason jar in your fridge. Kneel down or stand above the weed you want to remove. Loosen the soil where the stem of the weed meets the top of the garden bed. If you are working in wet soil, it will be quite easy to loosen up this soil. Grab the taproot or main root of the weed with your hand or weeding tool. Pull up the weed. Using your weeding tool or your hand, pull the weed out of the garden bed. Whether you use your hands or a garden tool is partly a matter of personal preference. Collect the weeds and dispose of them. And the third step is being friendly to your back while pulling weeds. Stretch before you start weeding to loosen up your muscles and prepare your body for the task. Sit with your legs bent, parallel, and one leg slightly in front of the other. Sit with your back straight. This will help you relax, conserve energy, and avoid back pain. Maintain a straight back while weeding from a standing position. This will help you avoid back pain and conserve energy while weeding. Install raised beds to avoid back pain while weeding. A raised garden bed elevates the height of your garden, so you don't need to lower your body as much when weeding. Purchase ergonomic gardening aids to ease back pain. You might consider buying some knee pads or a garden seat to ease the daily task of weeding. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you like our videos.